In their first drive of 2025, the Badgers scored when Gio Puglisi lofted a touchdown pass to Kenny Miller-Terry from about 30 yards out. Now, not only was it a TD catch, but Miller-Terry made a one-handed catch on that touchdown. In fact, it took my brain a couple of seconds to process that, going, did he really catch that one-handed? Yeah, he did. So the first score for Prescott of the new season, and KMT has what will definitely be a candidate for catch of the year in Arizona high school football. Oh, and later on in the game, Kenny Miller-Terry had a pick six. So great night for him. Great night for a lot of guys on the Prescott football team. I said it on the broadcast last night. The term a total team effort, yes, it's a cliche. And as an author, you're taught to avoid using cliches. But in this instance, it's appropriate. Puglisi had 3 touchdown passes to 3 different players in his Badger debut, along with Miller-Terry, Sean Kidd, and Eli Allen also had TD catches. Trace Overton and Jacob Chamberlain each had a rushing touchdown. I said the line will probably be Prescott's biggest strength this year, considering all the size and experience they have, and they did not disappoint, opening up a lot of holes on offense, shutting down the Demons big time on defense. Brady Costas, perfect on his extra points, with Overton doing a tremendous job holding the ball for him. And I don't know if I have ever complimented a holder so much on any of my broadcasts, but Overton deserves it because he handled a couple of not-so-great snaps and put down the ball perfectly for Costas to knock it through the uprights. When all was said and done, Prescott left the blazing heat of Phoenix last night with a 49-3 victory over Greenway. You could not have asked for a better start to the season if you're a Badger fan. And I did get an interview with Gio Puglisi after the game, even though assistant coach Brandon Johnson told him, "You're not allowed to talk to John Rust until you get 4 touchdowns in a game." He got 3, so I figured, close enough. And also, I interviewed lineman Blake McGlory after the game, and when he came over to me, I noticed he was wearing his sunglasses at 9:30 at night. I know, everyone out there is going, oh no, I know what song was going through John's mind. Yup, you're right. I'll wear my sunglasses at night so I can watch you weave and breathe your storylines. Yeah, Corey Hart does a much better job at that than I do. But hey, it inspired a new nickname for me for Blake McGlory, Nightshades. So, good job by the Badgers and some great positive vibes as they get set for a much tougher matchup in their home opener this coming Friday versus Northwest Christian, who walloped Independence last night 42-15. Speaking of other games from last night, Bradshaw Mountain got off to a rough start against Arcadia, going down 23-0 at halftime. They did shut out the Titans in the third quarter and did put points on the board, but in the end, they ultimately fell 37-8. Michael Sanford with a touchdown pass to Landon Taggart for the Bears' lone score. Chino Valley, they did play last night. They played Highland Prep at home, and no result from that game. And Cougar coach Brandon Schweng said the game was stopped in the third quarter. I know you're all out there asking, why was it stopped? Folks, I'm sorry. I don't know. I have not yet been provided with the reason for that game stopping. Hopefully we'll find out later, but it does seem strange. And I don't recall any storms or anything going through Prescott last night, so who knows? Hopefully we will get an explanation later. Now, Mare, they played on Thursday night. They hosted Superior. Unfortunately for the Wildcats, that was a 42-0 loss in that game. So there you have it, our Friday football recap. And I'll tell you what, it felt so good getting back behind the mic, calling a game down there between Prescott and Greenway. And Last night's season opener also resulted in an interesting experience I had at my bank. I go in to deposit my paycheck, and the teller asks me how I'm doing. And since I've dealt with this teller numerous times and, know her kind of well, I told her that, hey, I'm getting ready for the big Prescott Greenway football game tonight. No sooner did those words leave my mouth when some dude standing over at the next window leans over to me and goes, I offered to be a coach for the Badgers, but they turned me down. I would have been a great receivers coach, and they would have great receivers if they had just hired me, but they didn't. So I'm like looking at him like, okay. Kind of in that tone where okay means, yeah, sure, buddy. Or, in the words of Marsha Brady, sure, Jan. Even the teller was shaking her head because she actually used to play for the Bradshaw Mountain girls soccer team. And she's like, I can't tell you how many parents I've seen who, thought they would be the best coach ever and they'd help the team win a championship. Oh, and going back to what I said earlier about since I knew the teller, I gave her an actual answer when she asked me, how's your day going? Instead of just going, fine. Okay, just so everyone knows, that's just a thing of mine. When some rando service industry person asks me how I'm doing, how's your day going, it's just a pet peeve of mine. I guess I have this mentality of, I don't know you. You don't know me. Why do you care? It probably goes back to one of the best pieces of advice my dad gave me, my philosophy of business. Mind your own and stay the heck out of mine. Now, it's one thing if I know the person and they ask me that. It's another if I don't. Or even worse, when some service industry type asks something like, you have any plans for the weekend? And I'm thinking, you don't know me. I don't know you. Why do you care? And okay, this might be one of my AITA moments. For those of you who don't know the acronym, that's am I the I had this hostess at this one restaurant. She's walking me to my table, and she asks me that. Do you have any plans for the weekend? And being the wise guy that I am, I use this line from one of my all-time favorite sitcoms, Parks and Rec, from one of my all-time favorite TV characters, Ron Swanson. When he was asked a similar question by Chris Pratt's character, his response was, I was told I did not have to answer that question. Boy, the hostess did not know how to respond to that. Just like, okay. But one of the weirder ones I got was I was in another restaurant. The hostess is taking me to my table. And out of the blue, she asks, what's been the most exciting part of your day? Like, what normal person asks something like that? Okay, I'll tell you what. I really hope I get that question asked to me again, because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to answer, and I'm going to answer by telling her the plot of one of my novels. So I'll be like, oh, you want exciting? Man, I was in the swamps of South Carolina, and this lizard man popped up right in front of me. So I'm going hand to hand with him, or I guess it would be hand to claw, and I'm down to just my knife and this 7-foot-tall reptilian murder machine. And she'd probably be like, Actually, you know what she'll probably do? She'd probably call the cops saying there's some crazy guy in here talking about fighting lizard people. So maybe that's not such a good idea to do. What the heck? I'm going to do it anyway. All right, folks. So 928-541-1016, number to call here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. Again, 928-541-1016. On the show today, we're going to be talking some Yavapai College women's soccer, especially after their big win last night over number 13 ranked Laramie County College. In the studio with me, I've got players Maury Holliday and Kira Campbell. I've also got Coach Rosie DeWeese. So we're going to talk about that game, talk about Yavapai women's soccer in general. And the other side of the break, we'll be back right after this. We are back on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. John Rust with you. In the studio with me today, I have Kira Campbell and Maury Holliday from the Yavapai College soccer team, along with their coach, Rosie DeWeese. Ladies, good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, John.
Okay, so, Coach, let's start with you, and let's start with last night's big win. You had Laramie County College come in. Oh, by the way, of course, I have to mention this, Laramie County College, the team where former Prescott soccer player Laney Lucas is now playing, and they actually came in number 13 in the nation. And, Coach, you got the deke over them in one heck of a tight battle, 2-1, the final score. What were the keys to Yavapai getting the big upset?
I would say the keys were that we regrouped at halftime. We had a little bit of a slow start, but regrouped at halftime, came out with a different mentality, came out hard, hitting tackles harder, and just being more calm on the ball. And our sideline energy, amazing last night. Best.
Okay, so Kira, again, you're just about 2-3 games into the season at that point. Could have been 4, but we had field issues for the Scottsdale game. But anyway, that's besides the point. So knowing that you had a top-notch opponent in Laramie, what was the mindset of your teammates going into that game?
We were all really excited, especially after Scottsdale got canceled. We really wanted to play that game, so we just had high energy carrying on from that, and we're just ready to attack them and play well.
So, Maury, you had a really good performance up there at the Snow College Invitational, getting 2 big wins over Northwest and then Western Nebraska. With those 2 wins under your belts, how much confidence did that give the team going into what you knew was going to be a heck of a battle against Laramie?
I think it definitely gave us confidence. It made us excited. Like, we knew that we could hang and, win, and we wanted to keep winning. So, yeah, I think it just, we wanted to keep building. We didn't want to stop then.
Mm-hmm. And Rosie, of course, one of the heroes of the game, Jill Young, getting a goal for you. And Jill Young, she's just been on fire here in the early part of the season.
Jill Young is in fuego right now.
She is.
She's also running some of our social media, and
she's doing such a good job.
Taking it to a whole new level. So good job, Jill.
All right. And Kira, what was probably the thing that impressed you the most about Yavapai's performance last night against Laramie?
Honestly, what Rosie said, just regrouping after halftime and having a slow start. The first 15-20 minutes were rough, and then being able to come back from that is really surprising to me.
And Maury, you're a freshman, so the college experience is still probably new and fresh to you. So what was it like for you having to step on that field knowing geez, I'm just getting started with my college career and I'm already going up against a top 15 team here in Laramie?
It was definitely a little scary, but in a good way. And it made me I wanted to push myself for my team just to make sure, I didn't want to let anybody down. And I knew it was a high stakes game and a good game. So, yeah.
And Rosie, prior to that game against Laramie, like I said, you had a really great start to the season up at the Snow College Invitational. One of the games, talk about a polar opposite from last night's game against Laramie County. You took on Western Nebraska last Friday and just absolutely pounced, trounced, and denounced them. And kind of like I said in my monologue, it's a cliche, total team effort. But that's what it was in that game because, you had Sophia Fattrell score 2 goals for you. But then after that, it was like this player scored a goal. That player scored a goal. Another player got an assist. Another player got an assist. It was just everyone contributed to that win.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think at this point in time I'm really most proud of, or very, very proud of. We've scored 9 goals, and I think we've had over about 13 people involved in them. Mm-hmm. So for us, we're not a one-man show. We, like you said, jump on the cliche boat. We are it's a full team effort every time. Mm-hmm. That's how we work things. And,
of course, one of those assists in that Western Nebraska game came from the person sitting directly across from me, Maury Holliday, getting the assist. Maury, I believe that was your first point as a college player, right?
Yeah, it was.
So just what were your thoughts going through there? Oh man, it's here I am, brand new to college soccer, and I already got an assist under my belt.
Yeah, it was super exciting. I wasn't really expecting it, but I was really happy about it.
And Kira, well, you're not a fresh-eyed freshman
No.
anymore. No, you are now an official grizzled veteran for
Yes.
Yavapai
That is
College.
me.
So, just what are your thoughts when you look at the freshmen, all the talent that Rosie brought in this year? What are your thoughts seeing how they've been playing the first 3 games of the season?
Honestly, the freshmen are doing really well this year. Like from the first week of practices, I could tell that it was going to be different from last year. And it's just been a really positive experience. Like we're all really close and we just always have fun no matter what. So
Yeah, you said it was kind of different from last year. What are some of the big differences you notice in this year's team compared to last year's?
we're all just super close. Like we clicked right away, and I think that has helped a lot of our success this year is that we all know each other very well already and we're comfortable with each other on the field.
And Coach, going back to your first game of the your first real game of the season, the one because I know you had a couple of scrimmages, but they don't count. This one did. You played Northwest College to start your season, and what a start to the season it was, a 1-0 win over them. Talk about how big it was to get a win like that in your very first game of 2025.
Yeah, getting that win for our first game, but also for our first road trip. I mean, we were in the bus 8 or 9 hours and being away from home for 4 or 5 days. Coming away from a trip like that, 2-0, that's a big deal. That's a tremendous way to start the season. And that was a good team. You know, I think we played a very good team in our first game, and I had no idea what to really expect. And I think the team showed me kind of what direction that we were going to head this year. So it was very exciting.
Yeah. And, we talked about all the offense you guys have generated. Let's talk a little bit about defense, especially in goal, because you're probably the envy of quite a few college soccer coaches out there because most of them are lucky to have one pretty good keeper. You've got 2. You've got Talon Bennett, who last year was Region Keeper of the Year, also one of our top 10 local freshmen of the year here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. And you've also got all the way from England, the land that produced one of my favorite metal bands, Dragon Force. You also have Poppy Anderson. And, what a great problem for our coach to have is like, well, who do I start in goal, Poppy or Talon? Because they're both equally good.
Yeah, both great goalkeepers and both very different. They each have their own skill sets in terms of strengths. But as you said, we're very lucky, and it's a good problem to have.
Definitely. And Kira, after a 3-0 start here, just talk about how positive you are as to how you feel this season's going to turn out for Yavapai, even though we're pretty early into it.
Yeah, I have a really good feeling about this year. We're all just really close and really comfortable with each other on the field, and then our positivity and vibes off the field carry onto the field, and the energy is just very high. So
picking up the New Day philosophy there, the power of positivity. So Mari, as I said, this is your freshman season. So you're already about a month into your college soccer career. What was it like for you those first couple of days being part of a college soccer team coming from, what's traditionally been a really good program at Chino Valley?
It was exciting. It was definitely tiring. Training that much. It's different than club. But it was good. It was fun. Like Kira said, everybody was really positive. I think everybody on the team was very welcoming. I never felt any bad energy from anybody. Rosie was very welcoming as well, and she just came in, we all came in we need to have a positive mindset. We're gonna work, and we're just gonna keep building because we wanted to win and we want to have a good season.
And after 4 years of high school soccer, you come to Yavapai College. What was probably the biggest eye-opening moment for you as a freshman being introduced to the college soccer world? Got to think of that one, huh?
Yeah. The most eye-opening was probably the amount of people that wanted to work, wanted to work hard and wanted to play. At high school, you always have a few girls that are kind of there just to have fun. But at college, everybody wants to play, everybody wants to do good, and I think that was just the biggest eye-opening thing. And,
of course, for our listeners, they're probably familiar with the name Holiday because your brother Ravi Holiday had a great career for Chino Valley Soccer and played 2 years for Yavapai and now one of the starting defenders for Embry-Riddle. And, with all the soccer experience he has Ravi imparted any knowledge upon you to help his little sister out? Has he imparted any useful knowledge to you, I guess we should say? Sorry, Ravi, got to get that in there, man.
Yeah, he definitely has. Going into it, he told me like you just always have to play super hard. Like everybody's gonna be competing at their highest. And just you have to always be working or you're gonna like get taken out. And he said to be very physical too. He's also just been very helpful because he's been in the same situation, like living at home and like having to commute and everything. And like if I have any questions about anything, like he's been very helpful about that.
Yeah, kind of nice to have your brother like right here in the same town with you. So well, folks, we're going to take a break now here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. On the show with me today, I have Coach Rosie DeWeese from Yavapai College Women's Soccer. Also have two of her players in here, Mari Holiday and Kira Campbell. So we'll talk a little more with them about the season and talk about just some of the backgrounds of Mari and Kira when we come back from our break. So we'll take a break. We'll be back with more right after this. We are back here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. Joining me today in the studio, I've got Coach Rosie DeWeese from the Yavapai College women's soccer team. Also in the studio with me, I have Kira Campbell and Mari Holiday, two of her players. And as always, well, we got to find out some info about their teammates. It's time for Lightning Round, which this week I did not brief our athlete guests on. Why? Because I just felt like being a mean person today. That's why.
Love it.
So, Mari, I'm starting with you, and you're
Okay.
probably like, "Oh, geez, what did I get myself into today?"
You got this, Mari. You got this.
All right, so Mari, here we go. Who on Yavapai would you say is the best dressed player on the team? Who's the team fashion plate?
Ooh. Can I say two? Or just
Yeah,
one?
we can have a tie. What the heck?
Okay, I'd say Dottie and Bethany.
Oh, boy.
They're roommates, and I feel like they've got good fashion sense.
Okay.
Yes.
Kira.
Oh boy.
She's already nervous. What's she going to ask? Who on Yavapai is the most talkative? Who just won't shut up no matter how many times you tell them to shut up?
I don't know. Mia, maybe.
Oh.
Mia.
Mia Hauser? Well,
is
Coach, you're
mind
surprised
blowing.
at that.
Yeah, Mia seems quiet to me, but not.
Yeah.
But she's not. I'm learning this.
So that was a shock to you, huh, Coach?
Love you,
Kind of,
Mia.
yeah.
Oh,
Go, Mia.
man. Okay, Mari, we're going to go on the opposite side here. Who is the quietest player on Yavapai?
Natalie.
Oh, boy. Didn't even have to think about that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Kira, who would you say is probably the funniest player on Yavapai? Who's the team comedian?
Probably Bethany.
Mm.
Bethany, for sure.
She's a ball of energy. That's for
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah.
So she gets two. And what's her last name?
Vargas.
Okay, so she gets on the list twice.
Yeah.
Way to go,
Beth
Bethany.
Beth.
Okay, Mari, who on Yavapai is the most serious player on the team?
Oh.
Mari.
Maybe Natalie? I don't know. I feel like everybody has their moments of like being serious and not serious.
Mari's serious business on the field.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Mari. You're winner by default. I guess. Okay, now Kira, who on Yavapai can eat the most in one sitting?
Oh boy, we all eat a lot, low key.
Team effort.
Yeah, all of us.
Everybody.
So basically the whole team.
All of us, I
Yes.
would say.
Lots of energy. We expend it. We
Yeah.
got to get it back.
Well, Coach, like, how do you make sure to supply enough food to them then?
It's the eater's job. Make sure they get there.
I can only imagine the staff there going,
Lots of snacks.
Mm-hmm.
well, we're out of food now. I don't know what we're going to feed the rest of the student population here at Yavapai. The soccer team cleaned
Eats
us
them all.
We need lots. Yeah, eat it up.
Oh man! So Coach, for this season, you brought in quite a few freshmen, including Mari here, and I kind of like to get into a little bit of the recruiting effort here by coaches because it's obviously it's not just stats. It's not just how they play on the field. There's a lot that goes into recruiting. So along with the performance, the stats, I guess the tangibles that say the average fan sees. What are some of the things you look for when recruiting a player that maybe the average fan doesn't even realize?
Yeah, I think in addition to just obviously, are you going to come and help us be better as a player? Are you going to come and contribute to our team culture? We talk a lot about being positive, being competitive, and being supportive.
Mm-hmm.
Those are kind of the foundations, and we build a lot of that on building relationships through trust. So I'm looking at character. How do players react through adversity on the field or off the field? How are they treating people? Those things to me are really important. And as we talked about today, some of the success of our program this year has been that the girls get along and they really enjoy each other. And as Kira said earlier, that translates to on-field success.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I think a lot of coaches are looking at now, I remember years ago when Becky Burke, now the head women's basketball coach at U of A, when she was up here at Embry-Riddle, one of the things I talked with her about was observing the body language of a player and what are some of the positive signs and negative signs you see about that. So talk a little bit about that. When you're recruiting a player, what are some of the things in their body language you look for as, yes, this is someone I want on my team, or no, I'm avoiding that person like the plague?
Yeah, I think for body language, for me, kind of hand in hand is like if they make a mistake or if they lose a ball, what do they do right away? Like, what's their initial reaction? Do they try and win it back, or does their head go down and they kind of stop playing in that moment? Obviously, you want the player who has a mentality to try and win the ball back, or even at halftime, like if a coach is talking and and everybody's engaged and they're out on their own, throwing water bottles or kicking stuff. Like, I don't really need that energy in our program. We want those who are engaged, and when adversity happens, because it will, they're ready to learn and grow from it and be better.
And I think that was a big factor you hit on there about at halftime when you're seeing them on the huddle, because it's not just on the field, but it's also off the field. And I can remember a couple years ago, I was actually at a Bradshaw volleyball game with Coach Michael Trujillo from Embry-Riddle women's basketball, and we were looking, I think, I forget the school they were playing, but they had one girl on there, and you could tell she was like the top stud hitter on the team. But you look at her body language, especially when she was on the bench. When she's on the bench, she's just kind of sitting slouched, not talking to any of her teammates. And I was talking to Coach Trujillo about this, and we both came to the conclusion that, I don't care how good of a player she is. You look at that body language where it almost looks like she doesn't even want to be there. And it's like, who cares how good she is? I just don't want that kind of negative energy on my team, and I'm sure you've probably seen that from a few
absolutely.
players. Yeah.
And that's in the recruiting process, but it's also during game.
Mm-hmm.
Like last night, the energy was amazing, and if everybody's into it and cheering on teammates, and you're sitting on the bench sulking, you're probably not going to get into the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's nothing personal. That's just I want the energy and the vibe to go onto the field as well.
Yeah, and when it comes to the recruitment process, and I've seen this before over my years of covering sports here, where you see a player who is just an absolute giga chad, a stud at high school. I mean, all kinds of awards, all conference, all region. They get to college, and the success they had in high school just doesn't translate into college. So, Coach, what do you think are some of the big reasons why a really, really good high school player just doesn't make it at the college level?
The level is just different, and what you can get away with in high school, you can't get away with at a higher level. If you're a type of player that is just being played long and you can run in behind because you're fast and you can score goals that way, for example, at the college level, everybody's fast, everybody's strong. And for us, one of the things we've been focusing on this year is about how do we keep the ball and create opportunities to create numbers up situations, so that way we can just find the open player. Little things that I think are making a big difference. But yeah, I think what you can get away with at the high school level sometimes, it's a different game. Every level that you go up has a little bit greater complexity in terms of like how the game's played and at the speed that it's played. Yeah. And the thought process, not just the physical speed.
Yeah. And Kira, I kind of saw you nodding at a lot of what Coach DeWeese was saying. So when you first got to Yavapai, were introduced to college soccer, I guess what were some of the big adjustments that you had to make to be successful for Yavapai?
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, I was agreeing with what Mari said earlier about how, like, everybody wants to be there. And so, like, in high school, there was always a few stragglers again, but everybody wants to be there. Everybody's working hard, and you just have to fight for your spot and, like, prove to, like, your coach and to your teammates that you are, like, meant to be there.
And, Mari, again, you're nodding your head. And, we kind of talked about this earlier with you about what were some of the adjustments you had to make when you got to Yavapai. It's like, well, if I want to be in the game, I got to do this, this, and this. So what were some of the big things that you had to do in order to get in the lineup and contribute?
I would say, like, at practice, like, always putting, like, your best, like, work effort in. I think, like Rosie said, like, she really looks at that, and that's, like, a big thing that she's, like, said since the beginning. Like, she wants us to, like, work and be positive. So I think just doing that.
Yeah. And Coach, I know, and I know every coach can say this. Recruiting is actually kind of a crapshoot. I mean, you can look at players and go, oh yeah, this player, I think she's going to help me out really well on the team. They get to the team and it's like, actually, she's kind of fizzled out here. I mean, how many times has that happened to you in your coaching career where it's like you thought a player was going to come in and really help you and things just didn't work out?
I think it happens on both ends. I think there's players who come into the program who are like, there's a potential there, and then they explode in a positive way. So I feel like it happens on both ends, and really it's just becomes my mission to go, okay, well, how can we help this player grow so that they can contribute to the program, whether they're where they need to be in the moment or not.
Okay. So, Kira, so you come from Tempe. You're actually a graduate of Corona del Sol High School down there. So what was it that got you interested in playing soccer?
I've been playing soccer since I was 4 years old. My
Mm.
dad was a coach. He played. All my brothers, or both of my brothers, played soccer. So it was kind of just always in our family. And then I played like every other sport, and soccer's like the only one that stuck. So
Okay. So what other sports did you play before you decided I want to just stick with soccer?
like everything, like softball, basketball. I did a lot of dance.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. We'll have her show at the next break.
All right. That's why I should have asked who's the best dancer on the team. I guess it would have been Kira.
Maybe.
We do a lot of dance-offs. That's
We
kind of part of
do,
our
yeah.
pregame routine, I've noticed.
Oh man. So Maury, what? I guess maybe I kind of know the answer to this, given what the soccer culture is like over in Chino Valley, both for the girls and the boys. But what got you interested in playing soccer?
Like same thing as Kira. I started playing when I was really young. And I've just always, I don't know, I've always loved the sport, and I think I've known for a really long time that I've just wanted to play in college. And also, I think seeing my brother play in college also just like encouraged that.
Okay. And memory serves, I don't recall you playing any other sports over at Chino Valley, just soccer, right?
Yeah, not in high school.
Okay. What about before you got to high school? Any other sports for you?
I did like cross country and basketball.
Oh, okay. Oh, so building up that stamina, they're getting ready for soccer.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, like I kind of said in the monologue, last night certainly was a very hot one down there at Greenway High School for the season opener for Prescott football. And, well, of course, you're playing soccer in August. And, Kira, I just got to ask you, what's probably the hottest game you have ever played in your soccer career? Either
gosh.
Yavapai, Corona del Sol club, whatever.
There's a few in club where I felt like I was melting on the field, on the hot turf in the middle of the day. Like it was bad, but there's like a certain degree that you can't play over, right? So definitely like around 100, if not more, 100.
Talk about what that's like going on, the synthetic turf, because I've heard so many stories of, sometimes, the synthetic turf is kind of nice, but when it gets really hot, it just seems to absorb that heat.
It feels like your feet are on fire, especially if you have black cleats and I have black cleats. Your feet just are on fire, but yeah.
I think it's anywhere from 15 to 20 degrees hotter.
Yeah.
And your feet literally feel like you're melting.
I just remember on the old AstroTurf, I saw footage from Bo Jackson when he played for the Kansas City Royals, where he actually got a little cup, put it out on the artificial turf. I think it was in Kansas City in August. Cracked an egg open, put it in there. He actually fried an egg in the cup on the AstroTurf at Royal Stadium.
Wow.
And that was the old AstroTurf, the one that felt like concrete and just really absorbed the heat.
Yeah.
Maury, what was probably the hottest game you ever played in?
Last year during the fall, I remember this because it was so hot, and I like looked at the temperature, and it was like 112 degrees at the end of the game, and it was just, it just felt like we were melting, and like you just like were in like slow motion because it was just so hot.
Just heat exhaustion.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm assuming that was not in Chino Valley.
No, it was not. It was in Phoenix.
Okay, gotcha. And, well, Coach, I guess you got to get ready for the Heat on Tuesday because you're going to be playing another top 15 team. Actually, you're going to be down in Tucson facing number 5 ranked Pima College. So talk about what you got to do to get these girls ready to not only face a great team in Pima, but face the Heat.
Yeah, for us, it's, one, that's why we love Prescott.
Yeah.
And we definitely sell that in our recruiting process. But I think in terms of playing against Pima, the heat's going to be a factor. But honestly, we just need to do what we've been training and keep the game simple, not try to do more than we need to. And playing another top-ranked team, whether they're Division I or in Pima's case, they're Division II NJCAA team, it doesn't matter. We're going to go into it with the same mindset of do what we do what we've been training, and we'll be fine.
Okay. And Maury, looking at your bio here on the Yavapai College website, I noticed that one of your hobbies is something near and dear to my heart, since I'm an author, reading. So what genres do you like to read?
I like to read like mystery, maybe some comedies. I don't know. I like to I think if it's a good book, then it doesn't really matter. Like if I think it's a good book, then I don't really care
Okay,
what genre.
so if someone wrote a book about like a former Army Ranger and his girlfriend, wildlife photographer, being part of a group that went out and searched for cryptids all over the world, if it was a good book, you'd read it, right?
Yes, I would.
What a coincidence! I actually have published books like that.
Okay, I'll have to read
Okay. So, I mean, how much into sci-fi are you?
it. Not much.
Okay. Well, they're good books.
Okay.
So you'll
Okay.
okay, it's not just me like tooting my own horn. If you go to my Amazon page, pretty much most of my books do have 4.5-star ratings. So, yes.
Okay, John.
Yeah. Hey, it ain't bragging if you do it and you back it up.
Hey,
You know, the
yeah.
old Kid Rock song there.
Love it.
All right. Well, hey, folks, we are coming to the end of our show here today, but I want to thank Coach DeWeese and Kira Campbell, Mari Holiday from the Yavapai College women's soccer team, who, of course, scored the big upset last night over number 13 ranked Laramie County College. Want to thank them for coming in the studio, talking about their season. Ladies, thank you very much for joining us. Best of luck the rest of the way, and certainly best of luck on Tuesday going up against number 5 ranked Pima.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Thanks for
right.
having us.
You got it. Our pleasure. All right, folks, coming to the end of the show here. And don't forget, we've got more Badger football for you this coming Friday. It's the home opener for Prescott as they take on Northwest Christian. Also, we've got football for you today on the team, 1450 AM, KNOT. Ohio State and Texas going on right now over on 1450 AM. And later tonight, ASU versus NAU. That'll be getting underway at 6 p.m. Folks, thank you very much for joining us here on the Tri-City